from Compton, California, doing as a gunfighter?
Well, yeah. You know, it's just a life process of finding out what you want to do and what you're good at. And you know, part of college for me, I think that's what you're alluding to. You know, what was a change? How did that happen? Is you know, I wasn't one of those guys that was fortunate enough to know what he wanted to do when he went into college. And people would tell me, they said, "I'm going to be a biology major." I always found that was interesting. I wish somehow that I could have said that, and so I kind of got in line with the rest of the people, and I kind of said, "Well, I'm going to be a business major," and I was. And as my senior year was approaching, I felt like it was time that somehow I really discovered what it was I wanted to do, and you know, and fortunately I was able to do that, and began that shift in my senior year. I went ahead and graduated, but I shifted, and then for the next 5 years I just really began to re-educate myself.
And you worked behind the scenes in theater until you could get...
I worked stage managing. I worked on sound stages. I worked with a lot of writer and directors, first-time type of people, and did their material for them down in lofts at night, and play student films.
Ray Bolger says that most of his parts have been left on the cutting room floor. Wizard of Oz on to everything else. And you've had a little bit of that, but it's all worked out.
It has, and I tell you, the most important thing for me was direction. I felt if I had direction in terms of career-wise, what I wanted to do, that was the biggest burden off me. The fact that I've been in films and been cut out has never bothered me, because this is what I'll do. To think that that was my one shot at something, I guess it would be devastating to somebody. I guess if they go down to make a film up in you know, some small city in the United States, and that legitimately is your maybe one time at a movie, and for whatever reason you luck out enough to have a part, and then to see it cut out, I think it could be devastating. For me, I didn't think of it that way. I thought this is a fact of life. The fact that maybe The Big Chill went on to be a $100 million hit, that, you know, that kind of that's a reminder to you that, you know, that's something, but that didn't bother me really.
So Lawrence Kasdan liked you so well he did put you in Silverado. Jake is a wild character. He's a fun kind of guy. Kisses all the girls and gets in trouble, thrown in jail.
Yeah, he is. On paper he's a great character, and hopefully people respond to him as that.
Did you have to work a little bit on the gun work?
I did. That wasn't something I learned in school, or, you know, it wasn't something I had just picked up along the way. I had to, you know, pick those guns up, and because I used two guns, that presented a problem left-handed because my coordination wasn't the same as my right. So, and the fact that the guns were so important to this character, it was important that they be equally good.
So did you spend long hours before the movie working on your gun work?
I did, and then I developed big blisters on, you know, you can imagine 2 pounds on each one of your fingers going around. I got to the point where I couldn't spin them at all, and suddenly those particular scenes where I actually have to do some of that gun work was very early on in the film, and so there was a point when I was wondering, oh boy, it was just completely raw, and those big 2 pounds kept going around it. So fortunately it worked out.
You had a lot of energy in this film. Did you just pump yourself up because you were so excited, or you felt that's who Jake should be as a kid that had a lot of energy, you know, a young guy just full of vinegar?
I think it was inherent in the part, and so the way I do that is just the way I work. I mean, obviously you and I are jumping up and down right now. I found a way. I saw how I felt, number one, he fit into the group of 4, and then also that it was important that Jake be a different sound. His level of experience is a little different than the other guys, so it's not reasonable to have 4 guys sitting around talking about their mutual experiences. You know, those guys have experiences that I don't have, and where I'm coming from is a whole nother point of view. So I thought to bring a lot of innocence and also unbridled enthusiasm to things.
Well, what did you think when you saw the film for the first time put together?
I thought like I stunk in it a little bit. I thought everybody else was great.
But it's hard to watch yourself.
It was difficult. It was difficult seeing this guy who was bouncing all around, because I always thought of myself playing very much something like Scott's part, the traditional Western character who I've watched all my life, the kind of guy that's, let's say, real slow to burn, you know, the guy who sits around and doesn't really make a move until he's pushed so far, you know, that type of individual, not a Jake character.
So, let me ask you one question about Steven Spielberg here, because you probably can say I can't say about it, but that's a secret NBC series that even the NBC people have not been allowed to look at very much.
Right.
What can you tell me about the episode that you're in? Not the story so much, but who directed it and what?
Right. Steven Spielberg directed my episode, and that was important to me, or, you know, I'm not so sure that I would have done it. The other interesting thing is our episode is really good, and we turned it from a half an hour into an hour. I think it's the only one that's been done that way. We just said we can make this thing a little longer, and it's real exciting.
What is so special about Steven Spielberg? We hear so much about him. I mean, what is it?
Well, my relationship with him is unique. I had a bit to do with him on Fandango, and then obviously directing this film. He's there to make a film. He's in control. He's just he fuses on ideas. I mean, he's excitable. You don't see him down, and that's special. I don't know. You know, there's you know, he's just a special guy in our time, as is Larry.
They both know where they're going.
They're both in control.
That is important to know that someone's running the ship, right?
Right. It's Paramount or Columbia. Or
Thank you.
Fox.
All right. No, Jake's a great character.
Speed.
That's near my home.
Is it? I'm a little Tennessee boy myself. I'm up in East Tennessee, around Johnson City, Kings.